All right, let's rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Any visitors to public comment? Is it on the agenda? Yeah. Okay. Then we'll call in. Announcements for next meeting on November 21st at 7 p.m. We're going to be closed on Tuesday, November 7th for Election Day and November 10th, Friday, for Veterans Day. Districts 1 and 8 voting districts have been relocated to the Bucks County Health Department at 1282 Alms House Road. Applications are now being accepted for vacancies on various boards and commissions. Please check with the Township website for information. And if you want to apply for any, submit a letter of interest and a brief resume to the Board of Supervisors at 425 Wells Road. Submission is, deadline is November 15th. Doylestown Township leaf and yard recycling is this March through December, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The drop-off site is New Britain Road access to the back of Central Park. Discount movie tickets are now available from our administrative offices. Doylestown Township Park and Recreation, in partnership with Premier World Discovery, is offering 2 trips in 2018, Great Trains and Grand Canyon, and the Treasures of Ireland. Contact our administrative offices for more information. Bicentennial Committee is hosting a gala on January 6, 2018. Tickets are now being sold. Please contact our administrative offices, but do save the date, January 6, 2018, at the Doylestown Country Club. Okay, unfinished business. Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority agreement. There was one, we approved the agreement last meeting with a revision that was not accepted by Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. So we are being asked to reconsider the agreement without that revision. So that's been sent to you. We know which one we're talking about. If anyone wants to speak to it, please do so now.
I'm good.
Do you want to outline what we did agree to at the last meeting and what Bucks County Water and Sewer is now insisting on, if you don't mind?
No, certainly. So the form of agreement that you approved, you included in paragraph 13 a parenthetical which was including tap-in fees and public costs as part of the prepayment discount that the authority is investigating providing to the residents. That was not accepted by Bucks County and Water and Sewer. The understanding, or the reasoning that I was given was that, among other things, what the prepayment discount is, they are considering alternative options that may be different than tap-in fees and public costs, so they didn't want to limit it that way, and they didn't want to agree to anything more than what they are currently providing in that language until they complete their investigation.
Anybody have any?
So this change, it doesn't by no means limit anything that options are on the table. They're still going to pursue it. It doesn't take away any rights of the residents.
Material change. It was really more explanatory than anything else, and they're still obligated under the agreement to continue to investigate the prepayment options that are available.
Okay.
Any questions, anybody? Any comments? Ma'am, you had a question or a comment? Did you have a microphone?
Yeah.
And identify yourself.
Cindy Woodard Shrug. A couple things in the agreement, and I did this last month's meeting. I noticed in this agreement, the PennVest loan, they address the possibility of the township not getting a PennVest loan. So I guess my first question is, how will this be financed? And the second question is, if we don't get the PennVest loan, what is the financing option going to be for people who need financing?
Wait, Stephanie, you want to describe what happened the last time we had a community sewer and how it was handled?
The last time we worked with Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority, they offered low-interest loans through their financing, bank, local bank. They offered that to the residents in the 2 projects that we did previously with them. Obviously Barbara and I and Rick, we've all met with, and Matt have met with the representatives from PennVest. Our application is ready to be submitted this week before the November 1st deadline. And the woman from Penvest has indicated to us that, our project looks good and that they funded all applications that they've received, I think, in the last 8 years. Sometimes they move you to the next funding round. They meet 4 times a year. But, all projects that, what she said, if I'm correct, I believe she said every project that's come forth has been funded. So our fingers are crossed that, our project will be funded as well.
Well, I guess adding on to that question, should something in this agreement be written more about financing?
They're not responsible for financing necessarily.
Okay. Because,
This is an agreement between the township and Bucks County Water and Sewer.
right. I just didn't, they talk about financing and what they provide later in that agreement,
Yeah.
but it doesn't address that if we don't have it, what's going to happen.
What will probably happen if we don't get the financing through Penvest is that the assessment will occur and each homeowner will be assessed their share of costs with some kind of reasonable interest rate on top. And then, we would pay, you would pay through the township would collect that money and pay on to Bucks County Water and Sewer.
Okay, so I guess that goes to the other question. Worst case scenario, how's the township going to finance?
We're not financing.
Well, if you don't get the Penvest loan, who's paying for it?
You are. We're just going to collect it from you.
But when the work started, who's paying for the work when it started? Because you're not collecting from us at the end, I guess is what I'm asking.
Right. Typically, it would be Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. They funded the ones that we did previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my next question, they have Exhibit C, the cost, which is the first time I've seen a breakdown of this other than a line item back in July. They talk about administrative costs of over $1 million, which is like 15% of the project. From what I read back from the July meeting, that's engineering, legal, easements, and township expenses. Engineering, is that the engineering that's been done?
Yes.
Okay, so this is stuff that's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That they incurred, costs they incurred to date. That was their information, and then the additional engineering and legal is going forward.
And then they say easements and stuff, but easements are two different line items in here. If that's coming under administrative costs, easements are listed under township costs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of in there twice.
They had allocated a certain amount for the easements, and then we actually incurred all the easement costs that we did. It was just costs that we incurred. And that's what we've incurred to
I
date.
don't think I understand that answer.
Yeah.
They had in their estimates and stuff, the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority, sorry, in their costs, they had allocated what they thought would be the cost for our administrative in purchasing the easements, which was rather only like $100,000, and we've incurred more than that in terms of our costs to date for legal and the easement costs that we incurred as well.
And then my last question about this is the one participant lien reporting fees, $25,000. That's under Doylestown Township's cost.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not taking a loan out, why do I have to pay for everybody else's loan?
We came up with an average so that we assumed a number per hop. We just came up with a dollar amount per property. Some will have it, some won't. Obviously, at the end of the day, it'll be the cost that it is. If no one takes it, then we don't incur that cost. But obviously, some people, there's paperwork that has to be filed with the courthouse. And those people that do take the loan option and everything, that's the cost.
But that should be their cost, that shouldn't be absorbed.
But it comes into
It's part of the total system cost.
But that's also, part of the total system cost, but I'm still paying for somebody else's loan.
You also didn't get an easement, I suspect, on your property, but you are paying for somebody else's easement.
Oh, I get that.
Okay, so it's the
I
same
get that, but I
principle.
saw what it costs.
It's the same principle.
But I guess my point being, if you go to finance something, you take out a mortgage, you take out a second mortgage, your costs for the lien, you're paying for.
Well, and it may be that that's how it's ultimately apportioned, but for now, we need a placeholder for that cost for the entire system.
I guess my
with-
point is I would encourage or request that the board make that assessment to the individuals.
They will
that are
be.
doing it.
That's just an average.
That's how it gets executed, but for putting together an estimate for the whole project, we would not have known how many people would or would not have incurred that loan interest.
Right,
So,
but I guess my point is, the line item, and I understand what
Yeah,
you're saying, it's
okay.
still coming out in my proportionate costs.
Yeah, the reason it's included is because the township's gonna have to put that money out front to record the lien as an obligation they have under the agreement before they assign them to Bucks County Water and Sewer.
Okay, and this $1 million administrative cost, I mean, can anybody give me an idea of what numbers we're talking about? I mean, it's kind of like, to me, miscellaneous, throw it out there, I don't,
It's not. Do you, we have the breakdown. Isn't
I
the
mean,
breakdown
like-
contained somewhere in this agreement?
And that's it. Just-
It's
Not
just-
in the
It's
agreement.
just a line item, it's a, $1,024,348.
No, the administrative costs were about Bucks County Water and Sewer going back up to the line.
Yes.
Yes, under Bucks County. Those were their numbers that they had, of that I know they had allocated, they were counting 100 for us, but the remainder came from them and costs they've incurred for the various studies and everything. They never gave us a specific breakdown, but with the engineering and everything.
And this is, it's a GMP number, maximum price number, so the township will be billed and the residents will be, the actual administrative costs that the authority actually incurs as part of the project. That's just a maximum number.
I'm hearing a different question. I'm hearing, what are the components that made up the $1 million? What's the breakdown?
The components
Yeah.
and the breakdown as far as the actual dollar amount.
Right.
Because that just seems like a huge line item just to throw out there and say that's administrative costs.
We can give them that somewhere. Yeah, I thought we put some stuff, and I don't have it in front of me, that we had put in the questions and stuff on some of those breakdowns and things previously.
What you're looking at is permit costs, insurance costs, engineering, surveying, things of that nature that go.
So that's all this engineering and surveying
Yeah.
that's been paid?
Right.
Can,
Up to
Some
this
may be
point.
I
paid.
mean, we're kind of guessing here. Can we get that breakdown and post it so people can see it?
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would, I mean, because that just stood out to me when I saw $1 million in administrative costs. That's a lot, that's a big chunk of money. It's over $4,000 a house. For what? I think we being the ones that are paying the bill.
One of the things that you're going to find is that the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority has been involved in this project for 20 years. They put a lot of time and money into this project already, before it became what it is right now. So I suspect they're trying to recoup some of those costs that they've already put in over the last 20 years. Various studies, various engineering, various evaluations on this project.
Is the township engineering as well? I mean, the surveying.
No, this is
and
Bucks County
everything.
Water and Sewer.
Bucks County Water and Sewer did that surveying in our neighborhood a couple years ago. when
Yeah.
they came out and built the house.
They did the core
Yeah.
borings, all of that work. that
So
did
they've been
the
involved.
plans, everything that they did.
Okay, and I guess my next question, why the garage water committee?
Because we have to have this done for PennVest. Deadline is tomorrow, or 2 days.
Well, the deadline's the first. We want to upload everything, make sure that they have it tomorrow. And I've confirmed.
That's why.
When they're ready to upload everything, they need to have, and they've checked with PennVest, they want to see an agreement because we're partnering with Bucks County. They want to see the agreement attached to our documentation.
Okay. I guess my only other request about the agreement would be something written in there about what happens if the PennVest loan, I mean, what is going to be looked at for financing.
Okay,
That would be my only request.
okay, thank you. Anything else?
Again, I know we're pressed for time up against getting this in, but, I was hoping that maybe that they would be able to come back with something. I see they don't want to be limited to the tap-in fees, but that was the discussion that we had with them when we went to Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. And, I don't know why the language couldn't say something along the lines of, to include looking at things like tap-in fees, amongst other things, I mean, it just seems a little broad in nature, but that's just my comment.
We tried numerous iterations of the language. Ultimately, that was what they were comfortable with. I envision what will probably happen once they've completed their investigation and they've come to some decision. We will probably memorialize that in an addendum that will set forth in much more specific detail exactly what the prepayment discount and what it entails, so that it's clear and binds them moving forward.
I'm good with that. All right, is motion to approve the agreement, again with the change as articulated by our solicitor.
I make a motion we approve the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority agreement that's contained in our minutes package from our solicitor.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, what else is on the agenda? Reports from the manager. We've seen the calendar. I think we had one comment on September 18th, recognizing that it is a high holy holiday, that will begin that meeting before it's sundown at 4 o'clock, the regular supervisors meeting, and move the budget meeting to 2 o'clock. We'll pass on the calendar, of course, at our regular, our reorg meeting. It's just now for our consideration. And if you see any more changes or suggestions in the calendar.
Nope, looks good.
Okay.
Good job, Jackie.
Okay. Comments from supervisors. Do you have anything?
Thank you.
Nope.
Nothing for me.
Okie dokie. Me either. Records disposition, resolution 1979. What year that was? Was anybody here alive then?
Just a resolution.
Resolution number 1979.
I make a
Okay.
motion we approve the records disposition, resolution number 1979, with the documents that are iterated on the minutes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I have one question.
Sure. Do you want to second it first?
Second.
Okay, thanks. Questions?
The question is that these are older than the retention dates, that they should have been kept. And when this issue comes up, we typically try to confirm that we're in compliance with the records retention schedules. And so I was just curious where these have been identified at this point in time.
Well, we have worked very hard to make sure that all the documents that we do follow the state's record retention. As everyone knows, we've set up the space down back, and I think you two have been down there and looked at it. And Jackie works as our records maven back there. She works very hard to make sure that we stay in compliance, and all the department heads and everything like this. Rick Shea, our facilities manager, was preparing the building for the asbestos remediation that will be taking place shortly, and was up in one of the old vaults and was moving things that we had set to retain, boxes and plans and things like that that were up there, and tucked behind, way back in a shelf that made like an L, way behind, he started pulling out these very old dusty boxes. We think some of them with the bids and stuff may have come way back from Dick's office, we're not sure. But he immediately called Jackie. Jackie came through, went through them. There were a lot of photocopies that we could tell, so those could easily, they were not originals, but some of them appeared to be originals, and we felt we're going to play it safe, because even if it's just one sheet of paper, we need to follow the proper records retention and disposal of documents. And so she made the list that you see before you, and making sure we're in compliance with the records retention. And but they were tucked way back and behind in very dusty boxes, and they weren't as organized as so we were a little questioning, but we want to play it safe on that. So that's when we want to dispose of them properly through a resolution.
It's what happens when you tear down a building.
Yeah, I know.
You find all kinds of stuff.
Clean house.
I could take you up to a little room that we way in the attic, and it's Allison
It's
wanted
gonna be gone soon.
Yeah.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Okey dokey. I'm going to dispense with re-announcing the announcements and ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.